Hey guys, welcome back to another video, The Deadly Shaman here. And in today's video, I'll be going through my top 10 tips for new players to the game. So I hope these will help you. So let's dive right into it. Tip number 10. Tip number 10 is don't buy packs or spend crowns early on in the game. Like me, when you were starting out, you'd see all these players with cool gear and you'd be like, where did you get that from? And they'll be like, I got it from the crown shop. And same with companions. They'll tell you, oh my god, you should go buy these packs to try and get this, and this companion. However, that is a big no when you're starting out. I suggest not even buying these packs or gear until you're level 70 maximum, where you can get the maximum benefit from any gear within these packs or companions that happen to drop. And this is even the same with buying weapons. Weapons within the crown shop are hella expensive, and buying a weapon for 1,500 that has the worst power and you'll only be using for like 5 levels is not worth it. So that's why I say save your crowns till you are max level. Now tip number 9. Buy a mount with gold. Mounts, like in Wizard 101, are a lifesaver, as I'm sure many of you will know. Within this game, there is a lot of walking, particularly in Mushu. I mean, walking down that Ashen Road from one place to another just to get to the Kieran Fields was a nightmare. This is why I suggest going to visit this guy over here, Don Reed, and buying a mount for only 2,000 gold, and that is very, very cheap. It's a 24-hour mount, but you can buy them, like, many in one go. And they're the highest speed in the game. And this means you won't be spending 5 to 10 minutes running somewhere, which takes up most of your playing time. This leads into tip number 3. So what is tip number 3? Tip number 3 is to do with the most useful and important aspect of the game, in my opinion, your companions. When you start the game, you will get tips from Boochbeard and Gandry telling you to immediately train your companions. However, I would suggest to hold off on this and wait till you unlock further companions, or when your companions are lower levels than you. This is because you can gain more experience with a single training point, or use your training points on companions that suit your playing style or that you like to play with, or are your main companions. Furthermore, with saving your training points, you can train your main companions up in comparison to spending them on companions that you just get that might not be as good or as strong. And in general, my rule with companions is that you should keep them roughly within 3 levels of you and your pirate. So for example, if you are level 65, your companion should be level 63. If you're level 20, your companion should be level 17. The reason why I say 3 levels is because a lot of the time, enemies won't be higher than your pirate's level, but they will be around 2 to 3 levels lower. And by having companions within that range, it covers companions getting less critical strikes and then perhaps them getting more critical strikes against the enemy, and altogether allows them to have more health in general against the enemy and be stronger, and help you win fights and battles faster. So these next 2 tips are also related to companions. Do companion promotion quests. When companions get a promotion, they'll receive an exclamation mark over their head. Companion promotion quests allow companions to get new powers and become stronger, and they get an awesome snazzy cool new look. You should do these immediately. The reason why I say immediately is that if you hold off, you could be wasting several battles just using mediocre forms of your companions when they could be gaining awesome powers such as hide, heals, and faster critical strikes. This is why I suggest doing companion promotions really early on, as soon as you get them, because then you can unlock the further promotions. Yes. For example, within Ratbeard and Bonnie Ann, they have 3 promotions. So by holding off doing these companion promotions, you stop companions getting awesome powers. Now, another thing with companions and questing is that you should do companion side quests. So what are companion side quests? Companion side quests are quests where you gain a companion from completing the quest. This can be denoted by a companion in the bottom of the quest symbol. Now, why do I suggest doing these companion side quests? It's simple. You have a larger range of companions. By having a larger range of companions, you have more companions to use when your main companions are dead, or you just want to change up the gameplay. Majority of these side companions are pretty bad, but you'll get 1 in a million companions where you find that these companions are pretty awesome in PvE. And another reason why I say do these side quest companions is because they will be either your level or 2 to 3 levels above you when you recruit them. And this is really good for tackling those higher enemies immediately when you get stuck. Now, tip number 7 is significantly important. And it also, in a sense, links to tip number 1 of not spending crowns. When you start sailing in the game, Bushbeard and Gandry are immediately going to ask you to refuel by paying crowns, using this symbol. However, you should not do this, because at every dock there is a little guinea pig, and you can refuel your ship by paying gold. And this is why I suggest using this rather than paying crowns, because it saves money. By all means, if you want to just, I don't know, have unlimited fuel to stop yourself from doing that, by all means, but I would suggest not to. Now, tip number 8 is probably one of the most important tips in the game, and that is choose your tutorial options wisely, as they do matter. So in the tutorial, you're given a variety of questions, and these questions, and your answers to these questions, will relate to the aspects of your pirate. Sorry about that. And the 2 main questions are how your parents died and where you were raised. Now, how your parents died gives you multiple options, and these options relate to a companion that you get later within the game. Now the second question, where you were raised, raises a single stat of your pirate, and these stats correspond to classes, and some stats are useful for other classes and some stats aren't. So what are these companions that you get, and what are the options? So there are 5 options. You've got Mutiny, which is what I have, and if you select Mutiny, you'll get this guy, the Buccaneer called Dead Mike. If you select Armada, you get a Buccaneer Guinea Pig called Gaspard Devol. If you select Squid Attack, you get a Buccaneer Crab called Vergus Latro. If you select Storm, you get a Swashbuckler Rat called Milo Greytail. And finally, if you select Search and Buried Treasure, you'll get a Privateer named Lucky Jack Russell. Now, why are these options important? These options are important because you want to make sure that your pirate is paired with the best possible origin companion. For example, Lucky Jack Russell, chosen by the treasure option, is a privateer, so you'd want to make sure that you pick him on your privateer. And Milo Greytail is a swashbuckler, so you'd want to make sure that you pick him on your swashbuckler or musketeer, as these guys will, as musketeers and swashbucklers rely on agility. And same goes for Buccaneer. You'd want to pick either Mutiny, Squid Attack, or Armada, so you get a Buccaneer. And with respects to Origin, Origin is important as well, as that raises your different stats, such as your health, your spookiness, and your dodge, and your weapon power. Now, I would suggest picking Crocotopia, as this raises your mojo. And mojo is an important aspect, as it raises the power and the damage of some of your powers. And mojo powers are denoted with this symbol. And by increasing your mojo, it increases the damage of these powers, which is extremely important for killing those tricky enemies. Tip number 9. Within this game, you're going to get good gear and bad gear, but you don't want to be losing this gear. This is why you need to be monitoring your backpack space, making sure that your backpack space is not getting close to the limit for really tough boss fights that will drop pretty good loot. You want to make sure that gear such as this, that gives awesome powers such as Valor's armor, doesn't go to waste. So you want to be making sure that your backpack has enough space for every single fight that you fight. And if your backpack is full, keep monitoring your bank, because you don't want your bank to overflow and destroy your items. Now, what is tip number 10? Tip number 10 is do Zeke Quests. So what are Zeke Quests? If you're familiar with Wizard 101, Zeke Quests give training points. And in Pirate 101, Zeke Quests do the same. They give practice points, which are the training points within this game. And training points allow you to train new powers. And Zeke Quests are important because you'll get more training points than the training points you receive every 5 levels. There are about, I think, roughly 8 Zeke Quests, which gives you an extra 8 practice points. And this means you can unlock powers and epics from hidden trainers, or even use the fancy powers from other classes. So in each world, you'll find Zeke in one of the major locations, and when you speak to him, he'll give you these practice point quests. So those are my top 10 tips for starting out in Pirate 101. So I hope these help, and I hope these weren't too confusing. And if you think I've missed any other tips or tricks, please feel free to leave them in the comments below.